What's the hot tips for making chai? You have to warm up the milk on the stove. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so this can get controversial between Indians because everyone feels like they have the right way to do it.
Okay, right.
Some people go milk and water first, boil it together.
Okay.
Add the ingredients. I don't know. You have to.
Hot and fresh out of the kitchen. It's the Chip Lunch Podcast. Welcome back.
Out of the
Brayden.
kitchen.
Hot and fresh out the kitchen.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, we'll find the music. But how are you, Brayden?
Good. How are you?
Good. Return from youth camp.
Yes, alive and well.
Alive.
Alive.
Live.
Everyone made it back alive.
Yes. Mentally and physically well.
Yes.
I had to think about that for a bit. Yes, that's good. Yeah, and you give us a top highlight of youth camp.
Top highlight of youth camp
before we get on to our guest.
I think you forget how long, because we go away Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You forget how long Saturday is. Like
at the actual camp.
Like so we were going pretty hard on Saturday, and we're getting to an activity we're going to do on like the kind of last big thing we're going to do on Saturday afternoon, and everyone was kind of very lethargic by that point. And so I was like, I don't know how this is going to go. But Hudson, Fox, and who else was doing it? And Ethan put together pod racing, which was inflatable boats that we were like dragging up a hill and around. And it was like one of those things where you're like, I think everyone's a bit low energy.
Creative.
This is not going to be,
wow.
This is not going to work. And it was very fun.
I did hear it was very good.
Eth's got some drone footage of it, so I'm sure he'll put it somewhere. But yeah, that was really fun. Other than that, it was just getting to hang out with the crew for
very cool
extended periods of time is always just cool.
Oh, that's fun.
Flight jets and stuff.
Fresh out the kitchen.
Oh, what song is that?
It's Ignition remixed by R. Kelly.
Oh, Kelly, yeah. I was
Well,
like,
it's a bit.
who's it by? Yeah.
Bounce.
We just got demonetized.
I don't know. I only put it on for a very short amount of time. So
No, more mentioning
We're all
R. Kelly.
Possibly. Well, let's mention a more prestigious guest.
Yes.
And R. Kelly. Jwanel.
Hello.
Welcome.
Thank you for calling me prestigious. It's the first time.
Well, you were just saying you were having an elevated tea
I
before.
am.
Elevated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got Jwanel a tea, and it's she felt very elevated because it's in the
Cup.
glass.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. I just went for the bigger option. I feel like if I want a tea, I don't want
You
like a
big,
tiny.
you like a big tea.
Yeah.
Is there a way? Let's talk about tea before hot chips. Is there though? If you have small cups of tea, like it feels better because you like especially if you have it in a teapot, you're like pouring it.
Oh, I'd rather
regularly?
have a teapot.
Well, it'll
Drink out of a teapot.
I'd rather have a teapot is
just
what I'm saying than a
spout
little.
first.
Yeah, I was thinking that the other night actually. I was like,
I feel like smaller cups you can have it really hot. And
Yeah,
just keep
that's
refilling
true.
it, and it doesn't cool
can
down
you?
as you
yeah.
work your way.
See, that's my problem in reverse though, with Slurpees. So I don't like hot drinks. I only like cold drinks most of the time. Maybe an occasional hot chocolate for me.
Mm-hmm.
But I could never, people used to get like gigantic Slurpees.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it. Could only get, even if I didn't like Slurpees that much, but if I got a Slurpee, it had to be the smallest size because it would stay coldest.
Yeah.
And
And it'd just be a watered Coke.
The big
by
ones
the
just
end.
become those weird icy, like they're just
Yeah.
like white.
yeah, because you suck all the flavour out of
flavour
it.
out of them, and you're like,
That's
Yep.
last bit of this is a punish.
But the funny thing is, with a Slurpee, you have it in the hottest days
Yes.
when they melt the
Yeah.
easiest.
Mm.
Well, I'm the opposite. I'm a hot drink person. No cold drinks.
No culture.
At all.
Well, water.
I
I must
refuse.
boil my water.
I actually do just have hot water sometimes.
Yes.
It's really good.
Someone in our community group just has a hot water
Yeah.
with a dash of cold in it. I'm like,
So they can drink it straight away.
yeah,
They know what they're
that's-
doing.
That's
Yeah,
really,
that's smart.
they know what they're doing.
They've got it figured out.
So you're a bit of a tea.
Of course. I'm Indian, so that's enough said.
Where does tea come from? Or is it
I think
like
it's that region.
China, India,
China.
like around that area?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how it first came to India, but it would have been in ancient times.
Sure.
My dad actually grew up on a tea plantation.
Oh, I think you're like, my dad actually invented it. Like, he's an old man.
Didn't you know? Yeah, so very green fields. So I'm very serious about my chai. Every day, 4 p.m. If I'm working from home, that's when...
4 p.m.? Why 4 p.m.?
I don't know.
Why is it chai time?
It's like right between lunch and dinner.
Yeah.
And you just feel like you need something to keep going.
It's like an afternoon tea kind of thing.
Yeah. So we have in the morning and then 4 p.m. Mum knows how to brew it. On the stove always.
What's the hot tips for making chai? You have to warm up the milk on the stove. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
So this can get controversial between Indians because everyone feels like they have the right way to do it.
Okay, right.
Some people go milk and water first, boil it together.
Okay.
Add the ingredients. No. You have to boil the water first.
Do you?
And then you add the milk and wait for it to boil together. Add the tea leaves, and you can infuse like cardamom, cinnamon if you want, cloves. And then they all have time to marry in the pot.
To marry.
And that's the perfect chai.
See, I feel like I'd be more likely to want to try that because you've like put in the effort to drink it. Because my experience of tea is like, here's a tea bag.
Yeah.
And
It's not the same. It's just like, I just feel like I need something. So this will do. But a chai is, okay, now we can talk and it just relaxes you.
I suppose it's similar to coffee. There's something about like the smell and sitting down and talking with people. Like, see, I even like the smell of coffee. But I'm just like, I just can't do the taste.
Like the taste. It's an experience.
It sure is. Well, I'm interested to get your more details on different cooking things as well, because you're very, some of the treats that I've had that you've cooked are delicious. So we'll get into that in more detail. However, we also need to talk about this actual podcast, which is,
that's right.
It's called Chip Lunch. And so how do you like to have your hot chips?
Okay, so...
Yes, I love it. I love it when people sing, okay, here's...
I need to take a moment.
Well, I was going to say I'm not crazy on hot chips.
Okay.
Like I'll have them as a side.
Yeah.
I like when they have some kind of peri-peri seasoning. Something elevated.
I know what this podcast is going to be called.
And then, as sauce, I just go simple, like an aioli or ketchup.
So there's peri-peri seasoning.
Well, have you
Not
had
a sauce?
Oporto's chips?
Yeah.
They have a little peri-peri on there.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Oh, because I like the grilled ones with rosemary and salt.
Herbs and stuff.
Yeah, that goes all right too.
I don't like the shape of them.
I love how picky you are. That's great. The chai is not a chai unless it's done on a stove, and you need to boil the water first before you boil the milk together with the milk.
Yeah.
Together with the water.
Food is an experience.
Yes.
It all matters. I don't know what I'm saying.
I don't know. I don't think I actually love people that spend, because your brother Jabish is the same with certain things too. He's like, you're going to get this right. I'm just going to do this. I'm like, I appreciate that.
Yeah, he's very picky.
Okay, so the second question, which we're going to see if it kind of matches with Jabish's story, which is recorded a long time ago, actually.
Yes.
That was a while ago.
That was.
Was I on that one?
No, it's just me and Jabish
Oh,
together.
wow.
Yeah, you.
I've
and
definitely
Ethan
listened
left
to that
me.
one.
Intimate.
You
Yes,
might have been on a
intimate.
youth camp. I wonder if you were on a youth camp.
Oh, maybe. I don't remember why. Yeah, that might have been the first youth camp in my memory.
Oh,
I don't know. We were doing something.
Wow.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Was I on Amy's? I feel like I was on.
Yeah, you
maybe
did-
I was
you did
just
Amy's.
you did such a good job. I felt like I was there.
Yeah, that's not surprising. I'm glad we're talking about this. Anyway, let's get back to Jwanel's story.
Yes.
How did you become a Christian?
Okay. Very, very interesting because
Yes, I love this.
I've been thinking about it a lot, obviously, in the lead up to this. And I mean, I was sharing with you before that I've never actually said my testimony. And so I was very, very, I guess, a little intimidated at first. And I was wondering, like,
Brayden is intimidating.
Yeah. Very scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I put him on this podcast. Sorry, continue.
No, I was not intimidated by you.
Just to clarify.
Just to clarify.
But yeah, I was thinking about it, and I've often thought like, oh, what would I even say? I've always just said like, yeah, I was brought up in a Christian family, and one day I decided, no, I really do believe this. So I was challenged, I think, this week to think deeper. And I was reading in the book of Joshua how when they crossed the Jordan into the promised land, God actually made Joshua to ask the tribes to take a stone from the Jordan River and take it to their land. And it was to remember what God has done, not just, for Moses and their fathers and for Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, but for them personally. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it was actually really nice to look back and be like, what are my stones? Like what has God personally done for me? And I think to begin, I would have to start before I was even born to give some context with my family. So my parents are amazing people. They're the most wonderful people I know. Mm-hmm. And I think their stories are incredible. So if anyone's lucky enough to hear them, like some really like miraculous, amazing things in their experiences. So they're both super faithful. They get married in the 80s and they immediately relocate to a state in North India. And so moving to a different state in India is very different because it's a different language, different culture, food, customs, everything's different. So it's like you're a tourist in a new country. So they go, they don't know how to speak the language, they don't know anyone. It's a remote, more like village town rather than a big city. So they planted church there and they were really faithful. And then they came back to Chennai, which is in Tamil Nadu, the state that we're originally from.
That's more South India, isn't it?
Yes, so we're from the south. Mm-hmm. They have Jabish and then they have me, finally.
Crowning glory.
Yeah. And this is probably where I might lose some of the skeptics or conservatives, but my grandfather actually received a word from the Lord that you're going to leave this land and settle somewhere else. And that was a big deal because like we weren't rich, we weren't even like living in a place that we owned, we were renting a very tiny, tiny flat. And so my dad was like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm just trying to make ends meet. Mm-hmm. He also said, like, he was very firm. He's like, you need to apply for passports. And eventually my mum also felt this prompting that, yeah, we need to apply for passports. And my dad was like, okay, he trusted that their testimony was true. And so he did it, but it was very much like, this is a crazy move. It's like planning for something that would never happen in a million years. Mm. My granddad also said, you need to all change your last name to Abraham. And this is, I think Jabish talked about it, but in India, we take the patriarchal surname. So my dad's surname would have been his father's first name. Yeah. And for Jabish and I, it would have been my dad's first name. That's how it always goes.
Yeah.
So what would have it been?
Ravi is my dad's name.
Yep.
Doesn't have the same ring to it. Jwanel Ravi. But he was very insistent. It's got to be Abraham. So Abraham also left his land. And it would have been really weird at the time because no one changes their name. It's like, maybe if you're really rich and, want to be fancy and different, you would do it. But they're just like working class. Like, who do you think you are? Right. We're going to be, Western and we'll have the same last name.
Oh, right.
So I don't know how it was received by the community, but my dad made sure everyone's last name's legally changed to Abraham. And yeah, fast forward year 2000, we flew out here. Crazy move because you have to understand, like, my parents are not, big risk takers. Like they save their money, they don't spend unnecessarily. So we just had enough to pack some bags. I think my dad came out a week earlier here to find a place to rent, and then we followed and we just had our suitcases, and that's how our journey began. And I would say that's my first stone. So I've really grown up in like just surrounded by faith and seeing God's providence. And I think I mention all of that because I don't think it's enough to say that, like, I grew up in a Christian household, because that comes with connotations of like, okay, so you went to Sunday school and stuff. And it's like, yeah, I did, but I came from faith. Like, I really saw it lived out. And because I had that foundation, I never doubted God's existence, and I never doubted his goodness, because I saw how he really just loved and cared for my family, whether we had little or when we had a bit more. I really saw the faithfulness of God. And yeah, I would say that if I were to pinpoint like when did I become a Christian, I think I'm just gonna have to ask Jesus one day, because I still don't know. He's gonna have to reveal it to me, because I feel like I've always had those two things, that he exists, he's real, and he's good. Growing up, I suppose there'd be a lot of challenges that tested that foundation, but I don't think I ever thought they're not true or walked back on that. So Jesus to me was like a friend. Like, I grew up being like, yeah, he's looked out for my family. He's definitely real. These people that are saying he's not real are, sadly, it's just not true. I know the truth. And he's like my friend. He's my best friend. So I'm going through school, and I had a pretty good childhood. I had a lot of fun, had great friends. I'm really blessed that the friends that I made, I still keep in touch with. They're still my best friends.
From primary school?
From primary school.
Wow, that's cool.
And they're, all different ethnicities, different religions, but yeah, we kind of maybe found solace in each other. It was not a very multicultural school.
What school is that?
I went to Caringbah North Public School.
Yep.
And then Woolaware.
Yeah, Woolaware High.
Both are really, really good schools. I had really enjoyed my school time.
That's good.
I suppose there was always a feeling of confusion in the fact that I really liked my life here and my friends here, but I also really loved, like, my heart was just in India.
Yeah.
We'd spend the summer holidays there growing up, and my grandparents had like this huge property, and we'd all stay together. My aunties and uncles and cousins would also come for Christmas, and yeah, we just grew up with such like a wonderful environment, like the kids playing together, and I loved that so much. I loved the community that I experienced for like the 2 or 3 months that we'd spend there a year. And then, coming back, I also really loved my lifestyle here. I loved my friends. So I often felt like, it sounds so angsty, but I was like, where do I belong?
Yeah, but that's probably a real something that, like, a lot of people that immigrate anywhere have that. What is it? The tension between the two.
The tension, yeah. And I think for me, it was I really liked both places. So it also, it's a bit different. High school, I will say that I didn't really experience bullying, but it can be hard, being in high school. So I do remember there was a time where I was just like, I just wish I was Australian, because
Really?
yeah, I did go through a phase of actually like really not liking that I was different, and I just thought it'd be easier. So that was when I actually started to think about identity and like who I am, I suppose. And, high school it can be a rough place for such young minds for a number of reasons.
Yeah.
So I remember, like, when you're younger, you don't think about how you look or your personality or things like that. You just are.
Yeah.
And then in high school, all of that stuff comes to the forefront.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just remember, like, this is so crazy because I don't talk about this stuff, but yeah, I remember really deciding, like, okay, I don't like who I am. I don't like how I look. I don't like how, sometimes even though I've grown up here, I don't fit into the culture, no matter how hard I try. And I didn't even like my personality.
Yeah.
I would say I was like chronically shy, very, very shy. I just wouldn't wouldn't talk. It was only my family and like my close friends that got to see, you know, a different side of me. I think my teachers even would ask my parents, does she talk at home? Because we just don't hear her speak.
Yeah.
And I don't know why that was, because I had a really good home life. I had great friends, a good support network. Maybe it was this like tension between the two cultures. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But it would be like I would sweat if someone I don't know is trying to talk to me, or if I had to, you know, speak in front of other people. This today is like a testament to God's work in my life, because I would never have done anything like this. It was pretty bad. And I used to like have very negative self-dialogue. Just like, you're so boring, or like not interesting, or you know.
That's so not true, but yeah.
Thank you. But I think somewhere it just stuck. It was just like, this is who you are. And that was something that was hard, because I would have fun and I'd love church, I'd love my friends, family. But that's really what I believed I was.
Yeah.
Which I think this is why I like have never talked about my testimony, because there's not huge events that are markers for me, but it's a lot of like internal stuff. It's a lot of mental stuff. So a key thing I remember was going to the KIC conference, KCC. I loved it so much. It was amazing. The first time I went, just seeing like thousands of Christian kids, because obviously in high school you're like one of a few.
Yeah.
And so I was like, wow, this is amazing. There are other people my age who also have Jesus as their friend. Like, this is cool.
Yeah.
I do remember thinking one day, like maybe the first night, I had this thought that I remember so clearly, that was like, even in God's family, you're a nobody.
Oh.
Like, I remember thinking that in this crowd. I was like, this is great, but you're always just going to be like this just person in the crowd.
Yeah.
I remember thinking that so clearly, and just being like, that's just life. That's just your lot. You know, that's who you are. And so I was really happy to be there, but that made me really sad. That really was like, okay, so, you know, my faith is just something personal to me. Like, God is my God, but there's just no like hope for redemption for who I am, or I'm not sure quite how to explain it, but I just really didn't like myself, and I didn't feel that my faith changed that maybe. And then the next night at the same conference, it was very strange. I remember just feeling the love of God like wash over me. It was really beautiful, and it was like a direct answer. To be like, no. I see you. You know, I remember that so clearly. So continue through high school, and it pretty much just goes the same way. I'm still really not liking myself, I guess. But I did have this depth, I guess, that, okay, Jesus is not just like my friend, but he deeply cares for me. God sees me and loves me. And that did add depth to my faith. But overall, I still had a pretty good time in high school, and I would say my faith hadn't been tested. But it definitely was about to be after I graduated. So I graduate high school and straight away go to uni, because that's what everyone does. And this is where things in my life start to, I guess, change a little. I had some like health complications, nothing super serious, but it stressed me out a lot, caused my health to fluctuate a bit. So I struggled with that, still kind of struggle with it. The big thing for me was that it actually caused a bit of hair loss. And I know that it sounds silly, but that really affected me deeply. Like, I lost a lot of hair. And it was like, if I didn't like my appearance before, now it was like dialed up to the nines. And it was really, like, I would say I was in a deep depression at that stage.
Yeah.
I also, like, it got so bad that it started affecting my studies. And I remember I failed a few classes in uni. And this is like, I have to add context here. Education is really, really important to me and to my family. I think because, like, the culture I come from, we really remember our stories and we remember the sacrifices that were made. And, you know, my ancestors 2-3 generations back, they really made sacrifices so that even if just like one kid in the family can get educated, you know, it changes your whole family line.
Yeah.
And so those stories get passed down, and, you know, they could have built an empire for themselves, like invested in business or property, but they were like, no, we want our kids to be educated. So, and especially like that led for my parents to be able to come here. So I always remember, like, I was a very hard worker. I really liked doing well at school. And I also was, I mean, God has delivered me from a lot of self-righteousness, but at the time I used to really judge people around me who were like not taking school seriously, but also having the wrong attitude. It would really frustrate me because I'd be like, just leave then, you know, like, just go.
Yeah.
If they were like, it's so boring or stuff like that, yeah, okay.
Because I'm just like, you don't even know the privilege. So now I had a problem because I wasn't even meeting my own standards.
Yeah.
And this, like, the dialogue was so bad. And I think, like, full credit to my parents, because I know it would have been so hard for them because they had sacrificed a lot, but they never, like, guilted me. They pushed me to keep trying and do better, but I think I recognize that would have really crushed me if they handled it in a non-supportive way. But still, also in a way, it made me feel worse that I was just like, you know, yeah.
Like making it harder on them in a sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So, yeah, that was a pretty dark and depressing time. I began thinking, like, what is my life even going to look like? Where do I go from here? Another huge thing for me was, like, I've never had, like, career ambitions. Never had these big grand plans for what I'm going to do. I actually thought that I'd be, like, married by 25, and then at this point I'd have 3 kids or something. So, you know, time's going on and, like, that's clearly not happening, and I'm failing at what I'm doing. I don't like how I look, don't like my personality. I'm just like, what am I even here for? You know, like God's weakest soldier type vibe. Thinking, like, what is even the point? The depression got pretty bad. Like, luckily not anything super dark, but even just thinking back on the daily thoughts I would have, I was like, wow, this is a real spiritual battle that people go through in the mind. And I had support systems. I had really good people around me. I had church. By the way, I was, like, fully into ministry at this time, doing like 4 or 5 ministries, going to, I think, 2 services and a Bible study. Like, no one would have known. But yeah, I was really struggling behind closed doors. I just remember Mum would pray for me every morning, every night, because I was just trapped in my mind, absolutely trapped. I remember seriously being like, let's try prayer. Let's fully give it a go, because up to then it had just been something that you do as a Christian, but, you know, never had an impact on me. I liked reading the Bible. I actually genuinely liked reading the Bible from when I was a kid. Like, I think my love for stories and narratives come from the Bible. But I was like, let's try actually reading it in light of my life, and let's try praying for, like, just being honest in prayer and not doing the teaspoon thing, not doing the format. Like, let me just lay out, because I have nothing to thank you for. And obviously that's not true, but in my head I was like, I don't have anything to genuinely say thank you. I'm just gonna be angry and like vent. And so I remember doing that every night by my bedside. And I can't tell you how long it was, maybe a few months, maybe just 1 month, but I will always refer to it as the spirit of depression, because one day I prayed and it was like, it was gone. I don't know how else to describe it. It was like I'd been walking around with a weighted blanket on my head every day from the moment I woke up, and God just ripped it off my head. And I remember thinking, like, this is what it's like to have a sound mind. I remember having that thought, to be like, all the voices just stopped, all the negative dialogue. And that's why when I look back, I'm like, it's horrific, the things I used to think, the things I would just ingest as truth. It was something external, and it had been taken away. And praise God, like, I've never felt like that again. I've obviously had heavy days, obviously had sad thoughts. I've never had that again.
Like for that, at least for that longer period of time, and
correct,
and consistently. So
yeah.
What is it, like repetitive?
Yes. And I've always been able to recognize that these are untrue thoughts since then. But at that time, up till then, it was like, you're a failure, all of these things. It was just like, this is what you are. And there's no way I could have self-helped my way out of that. But it was taken. I think that was the turning point for me. I was saved at that point. So again, I don't know what point through this journey, like which stone was the stone that marked me being a Christian, but I think after that, I fully had a deep relationship with God, and my faith became unshakable. And it's funny now, because like, I'm still single and, thankfully most of my hair grew back, but it's like 40% of what it was up to high school. Like, I had a lot of hair. Still, externally, you might think like not a lot changed. I did end up, passing uni, not failing again, thankfully. And I have a good job, praise God. But it's not the circumstances changing that changed me. I have so much joy now, and God has really shown me his love and care and his saving power. And he's shown me what it meant that Jesus died for me, that Jesus, like, now I read the Gospels and I can't believe I used to read them the way I did. Just like, oh yeah, so he went and died, and that's really cool. Like, no, he had all of us in mind. Like, he was thinking about me. He was being spit on. He was being whipped and tortured. And that's like what God is like that. What God cares about, the thoughts that are running through my head. You cannot convince me out of my faith. You can't convince me with any arguments that God's not real or he's not good, because when you know Jesus, when you truly know him, I think I knew him, but now I know him. It's life-changing, and there's no prison that you won't be free from. There's no cage, no power that can take away your joy. So yeah, I think in a nutshell, those are the big stones in my life that have brought me to where I am, and that's what I would say is my story.
Wow, that's probably one of the most amazing stories we've ever had on Jwanel. You did a great job.
Thank you.
But also, like you're saying, you've never really said that.
I've never
before.
said that. I think there's some close friends that I have that will not have heard parts of that.
Oh wow, you can send them the podcast.
Yeah.
Thank you for doing it.
Of course.
It's really cool. It's really nice that you'll be able to do it here on the podcast. Because, I mean, I don't have the answers either, but it's so fascinating to hear that you felt like you knew all the truths, but you still had this, that tension or that continually trying to understand your identity. And that I don't know if it led to those awful thoughts, but I'm sure it had played some part in it. And then to just have it all taken away is wild. Do you reckon? Do you would say that then, like, your identity was locked in from that point?
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I think it began when I was in high school. That I was like, okay, there's something deeper here, and it's getting real unpopular to have this as your identity, but I can't walk away. That it kind of began there, but I think when I was delivered from depression, that's when I realized that, okay, there's power here, and that power is God's love. Yeah. It's personal, it's deep, it gives you purpose and meaning in a way that nothing else can give you. And so that's when I was like, I'm not going to ever like turn away. That's when I knew that I'm locked in for life.
Can I ask you, like, obviously we know what the big change was, is that the intrusive thoughts and your depression, like you said, but you said you had heaps more joy. What did that look like? I mean, your parents must have been stoked to begin with. They
said that there was a huge change. And again, I'm so grateful for their faithfulness to God, because they didn't give up on me or like, she's so ungrateful, like, because they were there for me the whole time. They cared for me. The joy, I think it just comes from knowing him. You can't take a shortcut to it. So I think from that point, I was in my early 20s up till now. A lot of this ties to like singleness as well. So if we can talk about that would be cool.
Go for it.
Because God has really taught me a lot. He's shown me so many wonderful things. Because again, I was like, if you'd asked me in high school, I wouldn't have fathomed where I am today. I'd be like, that sucks. Like, that's where we're going to be at, on the cusp of 30, we're going to be doing this. But yeah, I can't even describe the joy that I walk in today. And it's not because of me. It doesn't come from me. I made a decision, I think at 22 or 23. I was like, okay, I can seriously pursue this. I can be like, I would just want a relationship. That's what's going to make me happy. Or let's rethink, am I just going to let God deal with this? And so I made a conscious decision at that point to just surrender it to God. And I'm no way saying that this is the blueprint. This is what, singles have to do. But this is how God worked in my life. I remember just thinking like, you're going to make an idol of this. So just give it to God because he knows what's good for you. And I think the things that I've learnt in my mid and late 20s, you have to know how to preach truth to yourself. You have to know how to run to the real source when you're feeling what you're feeling. Like, don't just move into those thoughts and those desires. First, like bring them to God. So like when you're single, you have a lot of these thoughts and you just need to address them and expose them. For example, the feeling of loneliness, that's a huge thing for people who are single. But what I've learnt is that loneliness is not tied to your relationship status or how many people you have in your life. Because you could be married in a really fulfilling marriage with kids and grandkids, and you can still feel loneliness, because loneliness is a human condition when we take our eyes off God. Mm. And, you know, that gives me hope, not in a vindictive way of like, okay, we're all suffering.
Everyone's lonely.
Everyone's lonely. But it's more that, okay, so that means I have access to the source to cure loneliness just as much as anyone else. And it's not about who's in my life or not. So if that's true, then, okay, the solution to my loneliness is not to pursue a relationship, it's to pursue God. Another thing that you can struggle with when you're single is like the timing. Like, what if I miss the boat, or, you know, do I have to, because you always have people being like, just put yourself out there, you know, like how you expect to find someone when all you do is, you know, go to work and go to church and things like that.
It sounds like they're two really important things you need to go to.
Yes, so. But, you know, people would be like, well, nowadays it's like, you got to make a profile on Hinge and all of this stuff. And
yeah.
I just like, I will say I don't think it's wrong. I know a lot of people who've done that well and, you know, have found life partners that way. But I just think that like there's a godly way to pursue and there's a godly way to wait. There's an ungodly way to pursue and there's an ungodly way to wait. And the good thing is when you wait or pursue in a godly way, you will always reach your goal, which is godliness. But if you wait or pursue in an ungodly way, you might even get the thing you want, but everything you didn't deal with will be waiting for you and it's not going to solve your problems. So for me, I just knew that if I go that route, I'll immediately, like, I'm just going to tie my value to my success on those things so quick.
Okay.
And like, I recognize that I don't have the strength of character to do that well. So I'm just going to stay away. Like it's going to affect me for sure. So it's not for me. The timing thing, I really truly believe that there's no way that I'm going to miss what God has planned for me by being in the wrong place at the wrong time. Mm-hmm. So like, I know people who've even been like, I feel too tired to go to this event, but like, what if I miss the chance to like meet my significant other there? Uh-huh. And I was just like, that's really exhausting. That's so exhausting. Yeah. You're always going to be like, what if? But if you just recognize that God's not playing games with you.
Even though you're, almost like they're trying to kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And like, if he doesn't want something for you right now, it doesn't matter how much you try, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen in the right way. And when God does want something to happen for you, nothing will stop it. Yeah. So just don't worry. You know, don't stress about it. So those are things that like, okay, that can't shake me now. Like when I feel lonely, I'm like, no, I know how to deal with it. I know how to take it to God. Or if I feel like, you know, like someone at work actually was like, do you expect someone to turn up at your doorstep? Like, is that how, you know? And I was like, maybe. If maybe. God wanted to, he could.
Yeah.
It's like a salesman.
My Uber driver.
Just book the right Uber.
Yeah. But yeah, I just think that, you know, Jeremiah 29:11 is a verse that got me through uni. it says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, to give you a hope and a future." And then actually the verses after it, I'll just read it.
I just to point out, if you're just listening, Jwanel's brought a Bible, the holiest of guests as well.
I just
Very nice Bible though.
If I was holy, I would have memorized all of this. The verses after, I love Jeremiah 29:11, but I think the verses after I love even more. "Then you will call upon me and come and pray to me, and I will hear you. You will seek me and find me when you seek me with all your heart. I will be found by you, declares the Lord." So to me, that was the answer to everything. I was like, I'm just going to seek you. Like, once you're a believer, you have the answer to all your problems, because he will hear you and he'll come to you. He's promised it. He's declared it. So no matter what it is, he will find you in that place. You do need to seek him. Once you have God, once you've confessed that Jesus is my Lord and you're a believer, there's nothing that you can't be delivered from. And I mean, this is a little tangent as well, but going back to the mental health stuff, like, this has really been on my heart. Like, what I see today breaks my heart, because there's a lot of things that we are not promised immediate deliverance from in this earthly life. Physical ailments, natural disasters, the loss of people. But mental health, anxiety, worry, depression, you can be delivered from it in this life. There's countless words in the Bible that he is our comfort. Do not be anxious, do not worry. The solution is there. He makes it clear. And I don't want to say like I don't want to seem like I'm over spiritualizing it, like just pray, and there's some really wonderful mechanisms out here and tools to manage mental health. And I think they're good, and everyone is responsible for their own mental health. So I think people should seek help when they need. I know that I would have been diagnosed with a whole host of stuff if I had that awareness in uni. But I'm also kind of glad that I didn't, because I know that I would have thought that that's the solution, and it's not meant to be the solution. The worldly tools are only meant to help you cope and manage, and that's what they themselves claim as well. They don't claim that they will cure you. And so I think there's this real deception at the moment that it is like a physical ailment, that you will just be bound for life if you have certain traumas and have certain struggles that you go through mentally. And I just want to say that I don't think that's true. I think that you can be delivered. And you need to find the source of life when you feel like life is not good. And when it comes to mental health, because I have experienced that, I can say that it's different, because when you have the Holy Spirit in you, he will even change how you think. He can even change your thought patterns and all of those things, and seek help and do the right thing. But also, what are you doing spiritually?
It's the power that you're talking about.
It's
right?
the power. Like, there's healing power that he has. And yeah, it's different to like if I don't have a leg, then yeah, I'm probably going to die without a leg, right? And he could heal that too. That's God's power. But like, I'm not going to be like banking on that and being like, it's said in the Bible that my leg will be healed. But he is close to the brokenhearted. He does bind up those who are crushed in spirit. And he commands us not to be anxious and not to worry. And Jesus is God, and God is love. So if he's love, he doesn't command us to do something that is completely impossible for us, because he knows that it's possible and that it's the best thing for us. And I think that so many of us are in that cage in our mind, that prison, and we've just accepted that that's for life.
It does say he transforms us too.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. I'm not qualified to speak on it very well, so
No,
I wouldn't say that. But I think what I hear from you is a real maturity and thought in it as well. Like, I don't think you're making these. What I mean, they're not statements, are they? You're not talking about this as if you haven't experienced it, but I think you've been really thoughtful about it. And I think that's something I always really appreciate in the interactions that you and I have had, is that I appreciate your thoughtfulness and that you have gone through a lot to be able to speak about it in that way. So it makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Can I, you talked about being a fan of narrative and story. Can I ask you about, for just the little mundane questions, basically, about like, what did you study at uni?
So I did